several people tied to the Hells Angels.
Investigators say members of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang.
A few members of the Hells Angels are hiding the suspect that they're looking for the founder of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club.
Ever had a ride with the legends? Meet the Hells Angels, the ultimate rebels on two wheels. Born under the California sun in '48, they've been blazing trails and breaking rules. Our next cinematic ride? We're going full throttle into the lives of the top 6 most notorious Hells Angels, unearthing stories so wild, they'll make your engine roar. Popcorn? Check. Adrenaline? Double check. Let's roll. But hey, quick shout out. While some biker clubs have that bad boy image, are most folks riding those two-wheelers? They're just enjoying the breeze and the open road, totally on the right side of the law. Now, buckle up and let's zoom into the world of the Hells Angels and meet their most fearless members. Number 6, James Brandis. Have you ever heard about Jim Brandis? Real name, James Ezekiel. This dude wasn't just your average VP of the Oakland Hells Angels chapter. Oh, and get this, he was a cop before turning bad boy. Drug dealing? Racketeering? Name any shady business and he was probably knee-deep in it. I mean, in '77, they nabbed him with a load of drugs and some pretty suspenseful gadgets, including a police radio and some high-tech spy gear detectors. In a no-holds-barred chat with Rolling Stone in 1978, our man Jimmy went full renegade. He was all like, "I don't bow to anyone, especially not to William O. Bill Zerby, the narc who'd busted him before." But here's where things take a Hollywood twist. Picture this: a car, a bomb, and San Jose's Sergeant John Crack narrowly escaping a fiery end in 1977. They pinned that on Brandis too. By '79, besides the botched car bomb job, they were tossing all kinds of accusations his way, like knocking off a fellow Hells Angel named Stork who was about to sing in court. It took them until 1974 to find Stork's body though. And, as if that's not enough drama, our hero was also tied to the grim end of another angel, Alvin Lloyd Prater, and his wife, Mary Ellen. Their story? Shot dead and dumped by the roadside in 1974. With all those heavy charges, you'd think he'd be behind bars for good, right? Nope. Never convicted. The plot thickens when he and another angel, Kenneth Owen, are accused of targeting Detective Zerby. But here's the heartbreaker. Brandis took his own life in the slammer in 1994. Owen? He rode off into the sunset in 2016. Number 5, Paul Eyeshide. Paul Murley, nicknamed Eyeshide, rocked a double life. A slick stockbroker by 9 to 5 and a Hells Angel member after hours. So back in 2001, there was this party at the Hells Angels Clubhouse in Mesa, Arizona. Things went south when Yvonne Garcia, a mom to 6 kids, throws some shade at the club while she was a few drinks in. Eyeshide, along with his buddies Kevin and Michael, don't take that too kindly. Their retaliation? Seriously dark. They pop her in the trunk and leave her in the middle of the desert. Fast forward to 2003. The law catches up to Eyeshide. He's been slapped with a bunch of charges, including some pretty serious ones, from that 2001 night. But here's the twist. The judge gives him this electronic tracking bracelet because he's got a steady job and not much of a rap sheet. Classic mistake. Eyeshide goes all escape artist on them, ditches the bracelet, and bounces out of the country. While globetrotting, he goes full-on incognito. New ID, puts on a few pounds, goes bald, and rocks this epic chest-length goatee. And guess where they find him? Buenos Aires, a whole 15 years later. The guy's locked up there, and he spends 7 whole years trying to avoid a one-way ticket back to the U.S. But the legal grind caught up, and now he's chilling in Maricopa County Jail. Wild ride, right? Number 4. Robert Chico Mora. So back in the wild 70s, the Hells Angel had this big dream: make Arizona their own little biker paradise. But surprise, surprise, local biker crews were throwing some major shade. That's when Robert Chico Mora rode in with the wind in his hair and a plan in his mind. He thought, why not team up with the big boys? As the head honcho of the Dirty Dozen, he had some pull. Chico wasn't just any biker, though. At 24, he got locked up for a pretty gnarly crime, cementing his reputation as one bad dude. 1984 rolls around, and Chico's big idea? The Hells Angels built a strong base in Arizona and became the most powerful group in the state after making this important move. They caught him and charged him with killing a member of a rival biker gang in 1993. He was found guilty of the crime in the end and given a life sentence without the chance of release. In prison, instead of just chilling, he turns into a boxing pro, bagging that Golden Gloves title. When he stepped out, imagine this, 6'3" and almost 300 pounds of "you don't want to mess with me" vibes. He had a collection of past crimes, from drug deals to a quirky body armor charge, though that one got tossed out later. Fast forward to his last days. Chico, in his cozy neighborhood home, was beating game scores and occasionally being mean to his pet, Chica Ruka. But hey, nobody's perfect. With the Dirty Dozen, Chico's list of adventures went from shady deals to full-blown crime dramas. And yeah, he had a knack for chess, showing there's always more than meets the eye. In the Hells Angels world, Chico was sort of a legend. Despite the dark stories and rumors, for many he was their hero. A story whispered over beers and late-night rides. Sadly, the final bell rang for Chico on January 1st, 2014. Diabetes got the best of him at 58, but in true biker fashion, Hells Angels gave him a roaring 20-mile send-off that he'd have loved. Let's take a break for a moment. If you're enjoying this video so far, smash that like button and subscribe for more of the best touring destinations. Number 3. Yves Apache Trudeau. Ever heard of a guy named Trudeau from Yves? Not the politician, but the one with the nicknames like Apache and Mad Bumper? Well, strap in for a wild ride through Canada's criminal underworld. Born in 1946, Trudeau might not have been a towering giant at only 5'6" and a lean 135 pounds, but boy was he a force to be reckoned with. Picture this, a young Trudeau in the swinging 60s working at a place called Canadian Industrials Limited, where he got all chummy with explosives. Yep, they actually trained him to make things go boom. That skill, it gave him major street cred in Popeye's Motorcycle Club by the late 60s. It's 1977, and our guy's crew, the Popeyes, get assimilated by the big bad Hells Angel Motorcycle Club, specifically the Lavelle chapter. Talk about a career move. Trudeau swiftly carved out a reputation as the dude you just don't mess with. He straight up confessed to orchestrating 43 takedowns between 1973 and 1985. And get this, he diversified his methods: 14 shootings, 10 explosives, 3 beatdowns, and 1 strangulation. No wonder they now call the northern stretch of the St. Lawrence River the Hells Angels dumping ground. His hit list? It's like a tragic crime novel. High-profile hits like Robert Cote and Brian Powers, plus a heartbreaking saga where he offed Jean Desjardins, the grandmother of a former Hells Angel, followed by her grandson Andre and his girlfriend Berta. Yikes! Now, in 1985, when the infamous Lennoxville massacre went down, Trudeau was chilling in rehab. Lucky for him, he missed the bloodbath. But the Angels weren't pleased. They kicked him out. Feeling cornered and paranoid that his former buddies were gunning for him, and probably hating his cocaine habit, he snitched. For singing like a canary, the system rewarded him with a lighter sentence, life, but with a shot at parole in 7 years. Post-jail, our man tried to go incognito as Dennis Cote, but old habits die hard. In 2004, he ended up back in the slammer for a nasty crime. His story, however, took a tragic turn in 2007. Trudeau was diagnosed with cancer, and within a year, he was gone. Despite the years, Trudeau's legacy as one of Canada's most notorious bad guys lives on. It's crazy the stories history tucks away, right? Number 2. Maurice Boucher. Meet Maurice Mombacher, the guy who put the wild in Wild Child. Born in Quebec on June 21, 1953, this Canadian bad boy rose up to the top of the Hells Angel Motorcycle Club. Maurice didn't have the easiest of childhoods and got a head start in the world of not-so-legal endeavors. At 15, Maurice said bye to school and hello to a life of crime, all to fund his growing drug habit. The dude even teamed up with his brother for some home invasion shenanigans in the 70s. Fast forward to 1982, and our man Maurice is rolling with the SS, a biker gang with some seriously shady white supremacist vibes. But soon they rebranded and became part of the Hells Angels. and let's just say Morris was a standout. He was the cool, calculating type, but he had a reputation for getting his hands dirty. By May 1st, 1987, he was a household name in the Montreal chapter of the Hells Angels. In 1995, Morris was thinking big. He started the Nomads chapter of the Hells Angels. The word on the street was that he aimed to be the drug lord of all Quebec. This ambition, however, led to a turf war that was pretty epic in its scale. Think over 162 casualties. While Morris and his gang were making waves, the police were catching on. They intensified their focus on the Nomads, but Morris was a tough cookie, always trying to one-up the cops. But every party has to end someday, and in 1998, he got off the hook for allegedly ordering hits on prison officers. But in 2002, thanks to a little bird named Stephane Gain, Morris found himself slapped with a life sentence. You'd think that's where his story ends, right? Nope. While behind bars, rumors swirled that the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club gave him the boot in 2014. And in 2015, our ever-active Morris got into more hot water for a prison brawl. Since 2002, he's been cooped up in what's basically the VIP section for the most dangerous criminals, the Special Handling Unit near Montreal. Sadly, cancer took him in 2022 while he was in the hospice care ward. Number 1. Sonny Barger. Meet Sonny Barger, the bad boy biker who put the hell in Hells Angels. Born Ralph Hubert Barger Jr. on October 8, 1938 in sunny Modesto, California, this dude would go on to shake up the biker world. Flash back to 1957 and Sonny's revving up the scene by kickstarting the Hells Angel Motorcycle Club chapter in Oakland, California. But just like any rebel with a cause, Sonny had a knack for finding trouble. By 1963, he got nabbed for having a little bit of green, and we're not talking about cash, and then faced deja vu the following year with the same charge. And as if that wasn't enough, 65 and 66 saw him in hot water for wielding a deadly weapon. Yikes! Despite these hiccups, Sonny was no slacker. In 1966, he made a power move, uniting various Hells Angels factions and making the club a legit big deal. Before long, he was the poster boy for the Hells Angels during the wild counterculture era. The word on the street, and by the street I mean police and media, was that he was the global president of the club. But Sonny, he played it cool, denying those rumors every chance he got. The 1960s weren't all peace and love for him, though. There was the time an anti-war protester got roughed up in 1965 in Berkeley, and the tragic stabbing at the 1969 Altamont Free Concert. And let's not skip the 70s, when Sonny was in the spotlight for some heavy stuff like murder and dealing. But here's the twist. No matter how many times Sonny ended up in the headlines, biker enthusiasts and counterculture buffs just couldn't quit him. The man even penned a couple of books about his life and the Hells Angels, including Dead in 5 Heartbeats in 2005 and Hells Angel, The Life and Times of Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club in 1980. Fast forward to June 29, 2022, and we had to say goodbye to this legend at the ripe age of 83. Just a few years prior, in 2019, he was diagnosed with liver cancer. To sum it up, Sonny Barger was a complex dude, a mix of rebel, leader, and writer, and whether you loved him or loathed him, his mark on biker history is undeniable. And there you have it, the 6 most notorious Hells Angels members ever. If you're just plain freaked out and want to stay ahead of the game, smash that like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss an update from us.